With the schedule now released for the LA Chargers, could we potentially see Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh make another move, and maybe potentially a move that should help solidify one of their key positions? This and more here on Chargers Syndicate. What's going on, you guys? Jake Silva here up on Chargers Syndicate, giving you everything LA Chargers news. If it is your first time ever here on the channel, I encourage you guys all to like, subscribe, hit the bell button, keep you up to date on future and past videos. Well, guys, now with the Chargers schedule officially released for the 2024 season, we know that there's definitely going to be some bits of concerns, but at the same time, it's a good time to basically talk about whether or not if the Chargers are basically done signing free agents. As we know that we're going into minicamp and going into the OTAs, the Chargers right now definitely addressed a bunch of areas after they just acquired DJ Chark, Christian Fulton, also ended up getting Bud Dupree and multiple others. I mean, this has been a hell of a Chargers offseason that they have put together, especially with new free agents, new draftees. And could we potentially see them make more moves? Well, there's been a bunch of different responses, at least to that question itself. So the Chargers, we know that are going into potentially the fourth easiest schedule in the NFL. There's definitely question marks of whether or not have they basically solidified a lot of areas. My opinion, though, I think that there's about two positions that they could definitely solidify as a whole, and that's corner and safety. So we know that they brought in Christian Fulton to put next to Asante Samuel and, of course, Jasir Taylor. But we know that there should be at least maybe one more potential move that they could make, at least at the cornerback position, and something that I think could definitely help and solidify for the Chargers' depth, and at the same time, somebody that could very much mesh and definitely gel up with this team as a whole. Now, as far as two for the safeties, it'll be very interesting knowing that you've got Alohi Gilman, Derwin James, and a bunch of others as well. Hopefully, we could see the emergence of JT Woods, because we know that coming in did not really look that impressive. And so this is kind of where it's going to start working a lot of the guys from the bottom working up. And hopefully that they could definitely shine out for OTAs and in training camp and all the way up to preseason. So as of right now, as I look at the free agent tracker, there are still some notable names that are still available right now as far as the cornerback position. Names like Xavien Howard, Adoree Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, Steven Nelson, Patrick Peterson, Eli Apple, and there's multiple others. Now, we know that the Chargers last time have dealt with J.C. Jackson on that 5-year contract, which that was a big mistake. And then they ended up trading him away to where they had to end up eating up a lot of that cap. So the Chargers knew that they're not going to go with that mistake again. So Xavien Howard, it's an interesting one in my opinion, because I honestly do think he could end up meshing with the Chargers defense, in my opinion, with how he basically sets himself up at the corner position and basically like the type of player that he'll be coming into, especially with this type of Chargers roster. Now, the 30-year-old, all throughout his career with the Miami Dolphins, definitely showed up some very, very good stats as a whole. Now, he basically is coming into his career with the Miami Dolphins from 2016 to 2023, where he had 29 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries, basically had 2 sacks in his career, but a guy that definitely serves up as a shutdown type corner. Now, Xavien Howard, I think, could definitely be a very good get for the Chargers, but at what price could he basically be affordable at, especially at you're giving his age, you're getting at least his performance. And so there's going to be a lot of those question marks that are going to be coming up around, especially if you're trying to make a deal with a really good top-notch corner. Now, I think ultimately Xavien Howard, he can definitely serve up very, very well in some areas. Now, he does not also miss a whole lot of playing time, which is a good thing and something that I think the Chargers should definitely keep an eye out on, especially if you're looking for a very trustworthy and very clutch corner, especially moving forward. Other name that I mentioned up as well is Stephon Gilmore. Now, we know Stephon has definitely been around in the league for a long time, so he is no stranger at all. The basically with what we see with Stephon Gilmore right now, all the way from his career starting up in 2012 all the way to 2016 with the Buffalo Bills, 2017 all the way to 2020 with the New England Patriots, before bouncing to Carolina, Indianapolis, and Dallas. So Stephon Gilmore, his career numbers, he's had 31 interceptions, 8 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries, but also somebody that has also racked up a lot of solo tackles at 481 and 80 assisted tackles, but is a guy that is definitely a shutdown type corner. Many organizations that have looked into Stephon Gilmore absolutely love his play style, where he is a shutdown type corner, loves man-to-man coverages, and at the same time is willing to basically challenge up any receiver that comes up into his area. And so I think Gilmore could be a very good, valuable asset in some ways. But I honestly do think that the Chargers, they may try to consider it in some ways, but maybe they might actually look up in a different spot as well. So I think it'll be interesting. I wouldn't even be mad with like this type of signing if this was what to happen moving forward. But I do think the Chargers may end up going in a different direction in some areas. But who knows? I would not even be mad if Gilmore ended up coming to the Chargers at all. Adoree Jackson is another name that has definitely popped up as well for the LA Chargers. From all of his career from 2017 to 2020 and with the Tennessee Titans, and then finishing up with a 2021 season all the way to 23 with the New York Giants, Adoree Jackson had racked up 4 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 312 solo tackles, and 64 assisted. So Adoree Jackson, we know, is the type of guy that, regardless of it, with the small amount of interceptions that he's basically had all the way up to the starts of his career, Adoree Jackson is definitely another shutdown guy for sure. He's a guy that's not afraid to basically go up and try to contest a lot of receivers, but he's definitely a guy that can basically force the ball up out of your hands. And at the same time, he can be the disruptor as well, to where even if it becomes an interception or whatnot, he's not too glued into trying to get more interceptions as such, but he basically is more about get the ball out of their hands, get it out of their vicinity. That's basically who Adoree Jackson is all about. So I think this will be very interesting. Not a bad signing itself if that was the choice that the Chargers wanted to go with. But I honestly do think those are kind of the 3 that's very interesting to take a look at for the Chargers moving forward, even if it just meant you get a guy that comes in, he's a shutdown type corner. He helps out guys like Asante Samuel and Christian Fulton already, and a guy that can basically serve up as really good depth for the Chargers at the reasonable price. So I wouldn't even I would not be mad with any of these signings, but I think this could be a position that the Chargers for sure could solidify. And at the same time, this could very much help out, especially with a cooking up defense that Jesse Minter is basically putting together as a new defensive coordinator for the Chargers. So interesting looks, honestly, but I wouldn't even be mad with it. But hopefully if the Chargers end up solidifying with at least another corner before the season starts, not a bad idea to end up going on that route. All right, guys, that's going to do it here for me on Charger Syndicate. If it is your first time ever, like, subscribe, hit the bell button to keep you up to date on future past videos as well. I will see you guys up on the next video. Take care, you guys, and remember to